Good afternoon. My name is Babu Mandava, as David introduced. It was a good talk on negotiating. I think I learned a lot. But if you were to ask me what's the most certain thing to happen in a company's lifespan, I'd have to say it's certainly not sustained profitability. We've seen that for years. It's not sustained product innovation. Probably not even keeping your key employees with you forever. But what is certain is change. That's the only thing you can count on. And when change happens, it reflects in highs and lows. The highs, of course, when things are high, we feel good. That's a good thing, right? But the lows are the problem. When the lows happen, you will have to navigate. You'll have to navigate through the storm. You've got to be patient. And that's what I'm going to emphasize today. And as the topic is tough it out, what I'll do is I'll take you through the journey of what we have gone through the last 6.5 years. And I'll point out to the highs and lows, what went through our mind when the lows happened, and what we did, and how we finally came out of the low points reasonably successfully. Before I do that, I'll have to give you a little bit of background on the company. Just one slide. Bear with me. So we're basically a 4G semiconductor company, and we build mobile broadband chips. We are the leader in 4G mobile WiMAX chip shipments. We had 65% market share at the end of 2009. And why do you care about 4G? Why is it important? 4G is critical to make mobile broadband happen, mobile broadband internet happen. A mobile broadband internet is key for the future. Everything hinges on it, the way I look at it. It's much bigger than the PC revolution of the 80s, a lot bigger than even the internet revolution of the 90s. Probably order of magnitude bigger in my view. And some of the applications that mobile broadband internet enabled by 4G does are like video conferencing, mobile gaming, delivering HD quality video, cloud computing. It's not going to happen without mobile internet. You imagine you take that DSL and cable at your home, cut the wires, and take it with you wherever you go. Anywhere, anytime, on any device. Your content is readily available. So 3G cannot do this because 3G is built on a technology that is mainly meant for voice, CDMA. It does data, but it's not meant to do it. It's not built to do it, right? 4G is a lot more capable. There are other applications of 4G, like, for example, in countries where there's no infrastructure. So India is one example because I'm from India. I can relate to it. So you have no copper, no cable. How do you deliver broadband internet access to that kind of country? You need a technology that's cost and performance efficient. Right balance is important. There are a lot of vertical markets, like smart energy is one sector. Imagine all your smart meters in your home. They're not smart yet. They will be connected to a grid where you can control and observe the meters. Just imagine how many billions of dollars that will save to the utility company and the government. There are lots of examples like distance learning, mHealth. I won't go into all of that. But just remember 4G, it does all these things well because of 4 things: low latency, low cost per bit, high capacity, and high bandwidth. Okay, so, and those are the fundamental 4 factors you should remember. And there are 2 ways of doing 4G. One is through WiMAX, and the other one is LTE. WiMAX is here today. LTE is coming pretty soon. So we're happy to participate in both these markets. We're dominant in WiMAX, and we hope to do well in LTE in the coming years. I'll skip this, not very relevant. But here's where the journey started, end of 2003. We had this great idea. The idea there was very simple. You had countries, advanced countries, where 3G was just taking shape. 3G those days were about 384 kilobit. It's pretty bad, isn't it? And countries like India, where you need access, you don't have it. And we figured there's something in here. You can get the speeds up an order of magnitude, a couple of orders of magnitude. That'll be phenomenal compared to 3G, which is about half a meg, 384 kilobit those days. And India story I just explained. So we looked at it and said the way to do this is start with a completely new technology. You need a new engine. You can't do that with CDMA. So those days was MIMO, OFDMA. I won't bore you with all that. Just think of it as you got 1 lane of highway. With MIMO, OFDMA, you got 4 lanes of highway, no potholes, nice cement road. And you could have 2 or 4 layers of that. Okay, so depending on how many antennas you have. So think of suddenly you have 8 to 16 times more throughput than a 3G system. Add the low latency on top of it, you get a fantastic engine. And that's what we start to build. And we got funding. KV is, fortunately for us, one of the partners. And we started building a team, and we're on our way. Things were good. OK, so after about 18 months, we were probably in the middle of 2005, and we had to pick a technology. The only technology that was available those days was something called WiMAX. And we looked at it, and it had two forks in it. One was a fixed fork, other one is a mobile fork. The fixed fork, we figured was a dead end. It's called 16D. D is for dead. 16E is what we picked, mobile WiMAX. If you can do mobile, you can do fixed, right? That's pretty obvious, isn't it? If you can handle a car traveling at 200 miles an hour, delivering a fixed service to somebody in India is a piece of cake. We already over-designed the system. So we took the mobile path. We put a lot of innovation into the standard with Paul. Professor Paul Rogers, not here, but he's one of the co-founders, he's a Stanford University professor. And we partner with Samsung and the likes to get this started. Things are good. We started, get the first FPGA out. We were in Korea, April, May of that year, and everything looked pretty honky-dory. We could see the curve there, the purple curve up there. We anticipated a ramp beginning of 2007. But let's see what happened. So fast forward another 18 months. Now we're in beginning of 2007. The ramp did not happen. So what happened? We did a great thing. We did the first demo of a 4G in a smartphone in November of 2005. A lot of people will be surprised to hear that. 5 years ago. Okay. So the Korean operator deployed it. It wasn't a commercial success. We had a technology success. We helped launch Korean network, but we never had any commercial success. The reasons can be a lot. Technology is not mature. It was not marketed well. Device not mature, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that we didn't make a single dime out of it. So we kind of realized it towards the end of 2006, pulled back and said, look, we need to rethink this. It's not going to happen. What do we do? Then we said, OK, let's attack the US market. So Sprint was interested in WiMAX those days. So we partnered with Sprint and Clearwire. The problem was that the bar is risen. Now, what we developed for Korea can't be reused. We got to put twice the amount of work to satisfy Sprint because the requirements are drastically different. Same underlying technology, but we had to add a lot more bells and whistles. So we went in, started working, and reset everything, and started building the products, and still hope there will be a ramp. You see, the slope is slightly smaller right now because we know it will take longer, but we're hopeful, and we worked hard. Now let's go one more step. Another 15 months. So we're right now in the middle of 2008, right? So what happened here? Sprint had their own troubles. They said, we're not doing this. We're going to spin this off with Clearwire. OK, so almost a near lost. Luckily for us, the cable operators, Intel and Google, funded this. And probably most of you already know about this. So that's when Clearwire was formed, and Sprint spun its assets into Clearwire. So that was good. But then we got another roadblock. The IoT of the interoperability of these networks took forever. I'll give you one instance. We finished everything, went into an operator in South America. We sat there for 8 months. Nothing to do with us. It's some soft switch interoperability. You got these 5 soft switches, and they all have to work with their old analog fax modems. Go figure. Not my problem. It doesn't matter. We didn't make a dime. And then we're thinking, OK, it's about middle of 2008. Things should start getting better. Let's hope so. Boom. U.S. financial crisis hit us hard. I mean, it was like like everything ended on that day, probably. Like Q3 was bad. I mean, everybody said, this is it. Good days for tech are over. You guys all go home. You're not going to get any more money. And we had to raise money that time because we've already been about, as you can see, 4.5 years into the company. We're running out of money. We raised a lot of money earlier, but not enough because we had to keep running because tough technology, aggressive product development, and continued innovation. So we struggle, and it took us about 6 to 9 months to raise that $20 million. And I don't think so far, I think that was the toughest time for anybody to raise money. I hope it stays that way. It doesn't get any worse. But we got the money, and we hunkered down. We took pay cuts. We laid off some people. It was a very, very, very painful time. But what we didn't do is give up on our passion and vision. We kept the roadmap. We did not drop the roadmap. And there was a lot of pressure on me and the rest of the management. Hey, why are you doing this? Just not necessary. Just cut the team by 100%, not 80%, and stay alive. No, I'm not going to do that. I'll find out a way to reduce my costs, still keep my R&D funding. And that's what we did. Let's move a little bit forward. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? It's only a matter of 6 to 9 months. Suddenly, of course, the package came from President Obama, and the U.S. financial system improved. And all those things that were kind of lying dormant suddenly started kicking up. Clearwire started deploying very aggressively beginning of 2009. The Japan deployment happened Q1 of 2009. A lot of networks around the world, fixed networks, Latin America, Middle East, Eastern Europe, Russia, and even India started kicking. So all that work started turning positive, and we see a little bit of a ramp here. And we did about 3 million first quarter 2009, and the Q2 was about 6 million. Okay, and our roadmap focus helped us. We clearly were the performance leader. We had a lot of breadth of products. And clearly the brand name in 4G WiMAX, no doubts. Okay, so here's where we are today. We shipped about 4 million 4G WiMAX chips all over the world, different operators, different networks, different frequency bands, mobile, fixed, you name it, dongles, dongles, express cards, CPEs, mobile routers, et cetera, et cetera. So we did about 43 million revenue end of 2009, and clearly in this space, and we have a bigger opportunity to participate in the LTE market. Like I said, there are 2 legs to 4G, WiMAX and LTE. LTE will be a much bigger leg. A lot of the current mobile operators are moving to that. We have a program that has LTE, WiMAX, 3G all on one platform. We're very excited about it. We're going to introduce it early next year. We filed S1 in April of this year, and we're waiting. Currently, the situation outside in the Europe situation is not good. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But the point is that it doesn't matter. I mean, in my view, we wanted to do something. We did it. We hung in there. If it's Europe, we'll wait 1 more month or 2 more months. Maybe something else will come up. That doesn't matter. You can't control the outside. So we're going to stay focused and continue on our roadmap execution. Here is my takeaway. If you look at what we went through, we had the highs of, hey, this is a great idea, let's start. That was a high. The opportunity to work with Samsung was a high. The low was Korea market not happening. We came back to US, opportunity in US. That was a high. And Sprint delays by 1 year, low. Another hit on the macroeconomic, another low, right? But then what we did through all these lows is kept the focus, believed in ourselves, kept the passion. We know passion for us was to make the mobile broadband happen, right? We kept it, and hopefully, we're out of it, and we continue to go forward. Now, the key here is that, the 3 P's that I think are important: passion, perseverance, and patience. Now, I will take that any day over talent. You give me a guy with loads of talent, very little passion, very little perseverance, very little patience, a guy with average talent, lowered on these 3 things, I'll pick him any day. Because I think talent is overrated. I really believe that. Perseverance is probably the most important trait of all. Never give up, like Winston Churchill said. Never, never, never ever give up. So that's what I really believe in. Keep going at it, pursue your passion, pursue your dreams, and you work hard. You put about 80 hours a week into everything we do, right? Have fun. That's very important. I don't know what's in store for Beceem. I really have no idea. All I know is that I have a passion. We all have a passion. We believe in this 4G mobile broadband internet. We believe we can do well. We've done well in WiMAX. And hopefully, with a little bit of luck, we'll do well in LTE. We're going to compete with the big boys, but we're ready for it. And thank you very much.